Let's take a little twirl around the rink with a morning skate edition of the Inside Edge. Here are your hosts, Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley.
Welcome to another morning skate edition of the Inside Edge. Today we are in Buffalo, but we are not at the First Niagara Center because there is no venturing out in the cold today for the Blue Jackets. Just some meetings here at the hotel getting ready for tonight's game against the Sabres. I'm Bob McElligott alongside of Jody Shelley. And Jody, on these days, from a player standpoint, what's it like not having the morning skate and knowing that you just come in, have a meeting, have some lunch, and get the rest?
Well, in one sense, it's kind of nice because you don't have to get on the bus, you don't have to go to the rink. In the other sense, you're antsy because you're used to getting on the bus and going to the rink and having that routine and taping a stick. You almost miss the rink in a sense. So, yeah, it's good, though. I think these guys will be fired up. There was a big win last night, a kind of a rewarding win if you think about it. We talked a lot about the ice time distribution before the game and how evenly the lines were, and the guys were really pretty even in ice time. Then you got a couple guys last night, and Corey Tropp is one of them, who got some extra ice time, and that's good for everyone because it goes up and down the lineup.
Well, you mentioned Corey Tropp, and this will be a big game for him tonight because the Buffalo Sabres had him early in the year. They tried to slip him through waivers. The Blue Jackets plucked him off the waiver wire, so he gets a chance to come back and play against his old team here tonight.
Yeah, and, that's exciting for Corey Tropp. He's a young guy in the league. He's played in the minors. He's been up and down. He's been a part of the Buffalo system. Unfortunate with a couple injuries this year, but the Blue Jackets definitely benefit from having him. And here he is back in Buffalo. He's all smiles. We just had a media scrum with him, and he's excited. We said it a lot this year already with a lot of different players. It's exciting to return to your team. He stays in contact with those guys, but tonight, when the armor is on, he'll be going like he usually does and trying to run someone through the boards probably.
Yeah, and speaking of running people through the boards, the Foligno brothers might be trying to do that to each other because Marcus is going to be playing, and Nick's excited to play against him, and that's always a nice little rivalry for those two guys.
Yeah, that is, and I can't even understand that dynamic. I mean, that's got to be a whole other level when you can run at your brother or have a friendly bet and talk about it in the summer. But wait a second, we got Jeff Rimmer here. Jeff, you got some news, some signing around the league?
As a matter of fact, Jody, you've come to the right place here because we're just out of Philadelphia. Former Blue Jackets goaltender Steve Mason has signed a 3-year extension with the Philadelphia Flyers. Mason has found a home in Philadelphia and will earn $12.3 million over the next 3 years. Flyers did not want to go beyond 3 years, so that works out to a very neat, paltry $4.1 million. He's up in your neighborhood now, Jody.
But before... Before he can feel comfortable with that Brizgalov guy got a lot of money and thought he found a home in Philadelphia, too. Right. And now he's in Edmonton, although he's still collecting paychecks.
Yeah, that's right. So what you're saying is maybe Steve Mason should count for 2/3 of that?
I would say just rent.
No, but good for Steve. I mean, he's a guy that didn't work out here in Columbus, and there he signs. And thanks, Jeff. You can take the rest of the day off.
All right, this Buffalo Sabres team, they've changed a lot since we saw them early in the year. I mean, literally, they've changed. They've changed their coach. They've changed their general manager. Pat LaFontaine is now heading up the hockey department. Ted Nolan is back behind the bench. They're different, and they've been playing a lot better lately, and that's no surprise because anytime you get a new coach, everybody's playing for a job, and that's kind of the situation the Sabres are in right now. But they're really playing well also right here at home.
Well, Bob, it's you know this situation. You've been a part of the Columbus Blue Jackets. When the team is that far out of the playoffs, you're right. Players play for jobs. Coach, there's a new coach. There's a lot of change here. You have to reprove yourself at some level. These people coming in, Pat LaFontaine knows some of these names. He would be watching, I guess, around the league, and so with Ted Nolan. But to know them on a personal level, what do they bring every day to the team? What kind of experience? How can they help? Every team in the NHL has a plan to win, and obviously in Buffalo, it hasn't worked out as they planned. They're playing well now, but it's more of a rehearsal. And I think when that happens, teams are loose. One thing about the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I'm sure Todd Richards spoke to his group this morning about it, don't take this team lightly because now you're on the other side. You're a team that's pushing for the playoffs. You're a team that's in the hunt. You have purpose every day here in this league. You're playing against a team that's going to be loose and auditioning. Be prepared.
I want to, since Jeff is still sitting here, Tim Murray has taken over as the GM of this team. First-time job for him. Pat LaFontaine chose him. He leaves Ottawa. You know that family very well. What do you expect from him, and how do you think he's going to go about reshaping this franchise?
I think he's going to do a great job. They have a number of assets. They've traded for early first-round picks. They'll obviously have their own, likely the top pick here based on their standings. You don't want to see them move too much closer to perhaps the middle of the pack and lose out on an opportunity to get that first overall pick. But Tim Murray, his strength is scouting. He's done an outstanding job. He was with Brian Murray in Anaheim. Tim Murray is the one that was in charge of the scouting and drafted both Getzlaf and Perry in that same round. You know what they were able to accomplish after Brian Burke went there. And I've got a Brian Burke story here before we go, but late breaking news there too. But fact of the matter is, Brian Burke came in, traded for Jody's close personal friend Chris Pronger and former teammate, and of course they went on and won a Stanley Cup. But Tim Murray helped the New York Rangers. He was a scout there with them. I know Tim from his days in Florida with the Panthers, and I think that, quite frankly, that will be his strength. Obviously, Pat LaFontaine has his fingerprints all over the team. I think basically Tim Murray had to come in and accept that Ted Nolan was going to be the coach moving forward. And in fact, that interim tag is going to be removed here shortly, and he'll have a new long-term contract. So Nolan is the coach, Murray's the general manager, and of course the director or president of hockey operations is Tim Murray. And I think he'll do very well because his expertise is in the scouting department. And all you have to look at Ottawa and see all their great young players that they have moving through the system. A number of them are in Binghamton. Some of them are in Ottawa. Now, as far as Brian Burke, who we had mentioned previously, late breaking news is that Mount Burke is ready to erupt. Quoting the Calgary Sun here right now, the president of hockey operations there says, "I hate losing. It's never going to change. And it's unacceptable. We're not getting the job done. The players know that's not acceptable. And the way it has manifested itself, I don't sleep. I haven't slept much since I've come to Calgary." And he added that he has been through this before and knows how to handle it. They have a franchise low 7 straight home losses. They've scored 4 goals in those 7 games. And you know that Brian Burke, who is watched here now as we sit here in Buffalo, and Buffalo's named the general manager, he is going to start rattling the cage. And whether or not he maintains the GM job or not, there's going to be some significant changes. If I'm Bob Hartley, I don't sleep too lightly right now.
Yeah, it's been too quiet out there, so it's about time they start to get it ratcheted up. Now we've got let's change direction completely here. Well, hold on a second. I want to bring George Matthews over here. This is just roundtable in the hotel today. Here's what I want to know from you, George. You do a 12-game select schedule. Why on earth would you be in Buffalo in January? Is there not enough snow in Prince Edward Island this time of year?
Let's not go there. I came from the winter wonderland here and thinking that I was coming to sunny and warm Buffalo and Columbus, but boys, then of course Jeff Rimmer told me that I had to come on this trip rather than the Florida trip, so.
No, I would have had you on the Florida trip, George, and quite frankly, I don't understand why you didn't refuse to come to Buffalo and say, okay, I'll do the last 2 games in Tampa and Florida.
All of a sudden, this just turned into an old episode of The Odd Couple. That was kind of nice here. Aaron Portzline, you have anything to add today? Porty? No, he's running. He's out of here. He's got all the scoops. He's got him in that notepad, and he's just taking him right with him, right down the elevator. That's how it works. So how do you see this game tonight, though? This is kind of the classic trap game, isn't it?
Well, that's what I hear, and sure, it sets up that way, and I think the coach has to approach it that way because that's the fear. On a back-to-back where you play a team like last night, where you really – the Washington Capitals have pizzazz, they have that firepower, they have the star power, and they can beat you on any given night. When you go through that and dominate the way the Blue Jackets did for most of that game, getting that victory, don't have a letdown here with the Buffalo Sabres. Don't think you're going to take the foot off the pedal. You have to build. It's a crucial game, and you'd hate to say like a trap game where that little letdown and then get ready for L.A., got to be prepared. These 2 points are huge, and I think the players know that in their urgency.
All right, one last thing. You're going to be on TV tonight working between the benches. You're going to share that spot, that little tiny spot, with Rob Ray. 2 former tough guys in the same spot. Did you ever fight Rob Ray?
I did, actually. I've been a lot closer than in that box with Rob Ray. We've been tied up, horns locked, trying to wrestle each other around. I tell you, he was a big, strong guy. He's not a very tall guy, but he's like strong, like barrel-chested, man-strong. And I remember when I fought him, he had a hold of me, and boy, I tell you what, there was not much I could do about it. And kind of wrestled, tried to get a few punches in, but nothing really worked out. And I remember just looking at him thinking, boy, how am I even going to try to – how is it possible to hurt that head? He's just got that big, big, strong face. So it was fun to fight him, and hopefully we'll keep that to a minimum tonight.
I was going to say, if you really want to get the TV ratings up on both sides, you should talk to him about that because I think it would benefit both of you.
Maybe I'll throw him on the ice. We'll wrestle around at a TV timeout.
That would be absolutely awesome. Jody will be on Fox Sports Ohio tonight working with Jeff Rimmer and Bill Davidge. And, of course, George Matthews and I will be on the Blue Jackets Radio Network. This gets underway at 7 o'clock tonight from here at the First Niagara Center. Blue Jackets and the Buffalo Sabres. For Jody Shelley, Jeff Rimmer, George Matthews, Aaron Portzline didn't want to be a part of it, so he still gets a mention. I'm Bob McElligott, and thanks for listening to the Morning Skate edition of The Inside Edge.
You've been listening to the Morning Skate edition of The Inside Edge. Come back every game day to get the breakdown from Bob McElligott and Jody Shelley.